5 new and refurbished secondary schools opened in Wolverhampton today. They're among the last in the country to benefit from Labour's Building Schools for the Future programme, which was scrapped by the coalition government.
Well, the first phase of the £270 million project has been completed. Ben Godfrey reports on the legacy for school children and the city's wider economy.
Out with the old, in with the new. Pupils at Highfield School in Wolverhampton have waited 4 years for their brand new building. There are modern classrooms, open learning spaces, and it's cost £44 million.
I had the chance to come in when they were doing the building site, and I had tried to imagine what the classrooms would be like, but now they're so modern, it's just amazing seeing the school.
Transitioning to this school is just fantastic.
The coalition government brought a swift end to what it called Labour's wasteful Building Schools for the Future programme, but funding for Wolverhampton schools had already been approved.
We had got to the stage, though, with the old buildings where we couldn't really move forward in certain areas of our teaching and learning. I think if we're going to give our youngsters the opportunity to compete in the real world, then I think we have to give them the facilities.
That's music to the ears of local Labour MPs, who'd hoped not just for invigorated school classrooms, but also a boost to Wolverhampton's jobs market.
This is a good investment in the kind of economic growth and jobs that the country needs, because we're in a double-dip recession. There's nothing more labour-intensive than the construction industry, and candidly, it's on its knees.
Even though more than 100 apprenticeships have been created in areas like bricklaying, to date, just 33 of the £270 million has been spent with Wolverhampton companies. And in terms of the workforce, well, just over a fifth are from the city. More local jobs could be created, with 18 further schools to be redeveloped. This is Wednesfield High School, where BSF has delivered a link-up with one of the region's biggest companies, Jaguar Land Rover, which just happens to be building a new engine plant a few miles away.
We hope that even at 16 and 18, the local companies that support us, whether it is Jag Land Rover or Carillion, are actually able to use students who have left Wednesfield High School with the skills that are needed.
So, with a new era in education comes a familiar pledge. The government says its new privately financed school building fund will target the most dilapidated of buildings. Ben Godfrey, BBC Midlands Today, Wolverhampton.
Well, I'm joined now by Paul Apple, the Conservative MP for Wolverhampton South West. Good evening. So 5 new schools in the Wolverhampton area, all looks fantastic. Head teachers are delighted. Wasn't it a mistake to scrap the Building Schools for Future programme?
Well, I have seen a lot of those schools being built. So I've for the last 2 years, I've actually seen some of that development coming on. I think the important thing is, in the economic environment that we have, the old programme that we had to be scrapped, because essentially we had to look at value for money and make sure the whole process was working. And I know the Secretary of State for Education looked at it and thought the previous system they had was overtly bureaucratic, and we weren't actually getting the maximum bang for our buck in terms of the money that was actually being spent.
So what assurance can you give to the many schools across the West Midlands that are still waiting for refurbishment?
I think Ben in the piece there actually referred to the Priority Schools Building programme that is coming forward. Currently there's £2.7 billion being allocated to individual pupil places. Well, 2.7 billion and then 2.8 billion to actually manage the current estate. So over the whole of the spending period, you can actually get £17 billion actually spent on the whole estate.
And how long will schools have to wait before they get hold of this money?
Well, we had over 500 apply for some of this funding, and up to date, I think in May of this year, over half of them have actually had funding allocated for it.
And what about the other half? What do they do?
Well, there's still processes going through. They'll still be able to bid for money. But I think schools should rest assured that if there is a priority for the funding they need for the school premises, that funding commitment will be met.
Paul Apple, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, still to come tonight.